In this quick tutorial, I want to show you how to get started with Adobe Fonts if you have an Adobe Creative Cloud subscription. So you'll know as part of this project, you have to create a name tag that is based on a certain personality. So after you've typed in a name, you want to find a font that's going to match the personality that you have listed down here. And if you don't have enough creative fonts on installed already inside your system, you can go to Adobe for more. So click on your name. And when you do, inside your properties panel, you can come over here to the character panel. And this is the current name of the font that you have selected. And then to get to more font options, select the drop down and you can choose Find More. Now, because I'm on limited screen space as part of this tutorial, I've done something a little bit different. I've gone into Window and I've added the control panel up here at the top. So this is going to allow me to select some of these same panels, but from the top up here. So I'm going to click on Character, which is the exact same as this. But again, just to be able to show you this process in an easier format. I'm going to click the drop down because that's the name of the current font. These are all the fonts I currently have inside my system, but I want more. So I'm going to choose Find More. And this is going to take me to the Adobe site with all the Adobe fonts listed. And you'll notice that as I scroll down, what's happening to my preview, it's showing me what it looks like over there. And you'll notice that as you're working with fonts, if you find something that you're kind of like, oh, I sort of like that, it may be what I'm looking for. Over here, you have these squiggly lines, and that means show similar fonts. So maybe this font is something that I want, but it's not quite there yet. Well, if I click on that squiggly lines to show similar fonts, then it's going to filter everything else out to fonts that are somewhat similar to the one that I was looking at. Now, another option that you have, I'm going to click Go Back here, are these filters. If you click on Filter, then you can choose a font based on its classification. So sans serif, serif, and so forth. Black letter, let's choose black letter. Then I can also filter down a little bit more based on properties. If I want a regular weight, if I want something that's very heavy, something that's very thin, something that's very fat or extended, I can choose that as well. But once you've chosen a classification, just click over here and you can see all those fonts that are similar to that classification that you've chosen. And again, if you've come across something that you like, but it's not quite exactly what you're looking for, but it's on the right track, you can always click the Show Similar Fonts and it will. You can also click the Add to Favorites. So if you like it, but you're not 100% sure, if you add it to favorites, up here inside your filters bar, you can click on that and it'll show you all the ones that you have selected as your favorite fonts. But if you do come across one that you absolutely like, then in order to add it to your font library, you can always just click the download button or activate. Click on that. It can ask you if you want to activate the font. Hit OK. It's now activated. And you may take just a second or two, but you will get a notification from your Adobe Creative Cloud that says it has been activated. And you can always go to up here where your filters are. If you click on Show Activated Fonts, it should be one of the ones that you see. Now, another option is if you found working with this particular tool inside Illustrator a bit frustrating or limited, you can always go to the actual website that I provided you. And you want to make sure that you're signed in. Click Browse Fonts. And I like working in this interface a little bit easier. You can type in the sample text that you want to appear. So in this case, this would be your name. And over here on the left side, you get to see all the different types or categories of fonts as a starting point. And so choose one to begin with. And then as you scroll down, you get to see the name, your name, or whichever text you've typed in, your sample text, applied inside that font. And if you find one that you like, you can view the family. And the family will show you all the different samples of that font that's available. So this particular family has a very thin, normal thin. It looks like we've got an italicized version of it. And as we scroll down, we have just a lot of variations of this particular font. So again, that's part of the font family. Now, if you don't want all these fonts, you just want a certain one of this family, you can activate that at an individual level. But if you're like, you know what, I really like the way that all these family members look, you can always come up here to the very top and you want to activate the fonts. So in this case, we're going to activate Harborough Contrast. We click on this and we can choose which ones we want. Now again, it may take a few moments, but eventually you will get a note from Creative Cloud saying that it has been activated. And in this case, you can go back into Illustrator, going to your character panel, and again, I'm going to use this one up here because it gives me more room to show. I'm going to click on my character panel, choose my drop down, and again, your fonts listed, these are your system fonts, as well as any of the Adobe fonts that you've recently chosen, and those will be indicated over here by this cloud type shape. And since we just activated this, I'm going to click on my Show the Activated Fonts, and these are all the Adobe fonts that I currently have inside my system. And there's the Harbor one, the one that we just chose, so I'm going to open it up, and there it is, it's been applied. And again, because this one had multiple members of that particular family, I can come up here to the Style bar, or to the Style option, and choose. Wow, that's a lot of options. And that is how you use the Adobe fonts.